Welcome to class. Hey everyone, welcome back to the 21-Day Yoga Habit with me, Erin Motz. Today we're working on yoga for the feet and ankles. So this is a super overlooked area of our bodies. As you know, most of us wear shoes pretty much all day, and shoes are really terrible for the health of our foot, the health of our ankles, and therefore it just follows the chain up. Knee problems, hip problems, tightness in the back. So it's really important to kind of get to this area of the body once in a while. It'll kind of be worked in with other things, so that won't be the only thing we do. You will want a block if you have one. If you don't worry about it. You can roll up your yoga mat for what we're gonna do. So yeah, we're gonna start sitting in a way that might be very uncomfortable for a lot of us. Tucking the toes under. You can turn to face the front of your mat. Tucking the toes under, I want you to sit back on the heels. Now already this might be like your feet are screaming. This is terrible, terrible. If that's the case, I want you just to lean forward and see if you can just lightly put some of your weight on the hands first and then gradually back on the feet. I want you to try to tolerate this as much as you can. If you're upright, go ahead and place the hands in the lap. Let the shoulders sit back. And make sure your heels are pointing straight up. They're not bowing out to the side at all. And what's interesting, I find it interesting, is that because we wear shoes all the time and we're walking in relatively predictable surfaces, our toes and our feet really don't have to work very hard. I mean, they don't have to articulate very much. So when we're in very dense like sneakers and things like that, our feet are pretty neutral and we just make very singular motions with the feet and toes all day, every day. So doing something like this feels extremely unnatural because it is. We've kind of evolved in such a way where we use less complex motions a lot of times, you know, because the world around us has adapted to make it easier. And that's great. But it's not super, super great for us in the long run because then we have little aches and pains and imbalances that we can't really place. So being able to sit up like this is a good indicator of whether or not your feet are a little bit weak or could be used a little bit more efficiently. Has my little chat distracted you from the discomfort in your feet and ankles? I hope so. We're going to take a few more breaths here. And if you're leaning forward, again, just see how it feels. If you've got to come off of this shape, that's fine. But you'll be able to work up to it, hopefully. Someday you will. Now, from where you are, let's just slowly crawl forward. Oh, goodness. You can untuck the toes for a little break. You don't need your block yet. But we're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow, just nice and slow. And go with your breath. And gradually take it back to neutral. I want you to tuck the toes again. Yes, I'm serious. Sit back on the heels. Take your time. We're not going to hold as long for this round. See if you can sit up. So make sure all your toes are untucked, or you know, they're all as flat as you can get them on the floor. I wonder too, if any of you are yoga teachers or people who do yoga all the time. Like I'm barefoot pretty much all day, so this doesn't really bother me too much. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but otherwise I actually feel pretty fine. So I wonder too, if you spend a lot of time barefoot, like maybe if you work from home, do you feel this is not as uncomfortable? I'm curious how we're different, you know? I always find this stuff fascinating, but that's just me. And look, our time is done. Aren't you glad that I'm chatty? Walk your hands forward. Unhook the toes. And then we'll do, again, cat-cow just a couple times each way, just to kind of stretch out the back and stretch out the front. one more each way. Gradually take it back to neutral. Tuck the toes under and sit up and back to down dog. So take a more narrow down dog than you're used to if you can. So if you're normally back here, just take one step forward because we're going to add a little bit of a twist. So really press into the feet. Take the right hand to the outside of the left leg and take a twist underneath. Take it back to neutral, right hand down. Left hand is going to reach to the outside of the right leg. Spin underneath that right arm. And take it back to neutral. Now just slowly walk the feet up towards the hands. Spread the toes as you step. Once you get to the top of your mat, make sure your block is nearby and just rise up. Okay, so now I'm going to continue making you a little uncomfortable. And we're going to take our block. If you don't have a block, you're just going to roll your mat up about halfway to about halfway or so. But if you've got a block, if your mat is rolled, you're going to take the ball of your foot to that roll of your mat and take the heel down so you can stretch the calf. If you're on a block, you're going to do what I'm doing. So take the just the wider end of it, bring the ball or so of your foot there, let the heel come down, and then see if you can step your other foot, your right foot, towards the front of your mat. So keep your knees straight. The calf is going to feel an intense stretch here. So the calf down like through the Achilles area. This is a really, really important stretch for most of us. Again, when we wear shoes all day, especially shoes that have any kind of incline at the heel. So even if you're not wearing proper heels all day, you know, when you're wearing a shoe that has a decline, like a bigger heel and a shorter sole at the ball of the foot, we're basically essentially walking downhill all day. So our foot is pointed in this direction all day, a less dramatic version of it. So we never make this motion. We're never walking uphill because typically we're not walking uphill in real life on a terrain. And of course, our shoes aren't made that way in that direction. So our calves can get really, really tight and our foot never makes this motion. So again, that can lead to all kinds of like little problems in the chain, you know, in the kinetic chain of your knee, of your hip, of your back, your shoulder. So this is so super important to do, even though I know it is a little killer. We're almost done. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on out. Feel it. Maybe kind of stretch the other way just for a moment. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. You will feel an amazing difference when we go forward. Trust me. You're going to be like, what? That's what you're going to say. Right foot now. So right foot either on that rolled up portion of your mat or on your block. If the front of the block comes up a little bit, it's okay. Just make sure the heel's down. And then you can step your left foot forward if you have the mobility, or you can just keep it down. This side's a little tight to me. But keep your knees straight. Don't pop the right hip out at all. I don't know if it helps you, but it always helps me whenever I'm doing something like this that feels a little uncomfortable. I actually remind myself like why it's good for me, why I need it, these kinds of things. So almost like if you ever had green juice that you don't really love, and you're like, you know what, but it's so good for you. It almost feels magical that you're like, okay, I can tolerate this. It's practically magic, you know. Same goes for stuff like this. So while you're here, you're like, but I need this so badly that, you know what, like this is good. This is really, really good. You can kind of change the conversation about the thing in your head, and it makes it easier. I really think it does. You're almost done, about 10 seconds left. And you can do this for even longer if you feel like you need it. You know, this is always one of those things you can do on your own time throughout the day. Come on out. Maybe roll the ankle a bit. You can move your block off to the side. Step to the top of your mat. And step to the top of your mat. I'm just going to turn so you can see me. We're going to raise up off the heels and slowly lower. Now, what I don't want you to do, pay attention to my heels. This is what not to do. Don't roll the ankles out to the side. You want to come straight up, straight down. We're going to go for 8. Straight up. 7. 6. 5. Spread the toes. 4. 3. 2. 1. Okay, good job. Turn your toes out to the sides. We're going to find a squat. So similar yogi squat that we've done before. Drop the hips low. Bring your hands to your heart. Lift the chest. And once you're here already, notice how much more length you feel you have to sit into your squat when the calves have been kind of lengthened out a little bit. That was one of the first things I noticed when I did this class myself the other day, is that I was like, oh man, makes such a difference in things you wouldn't even pay attention to. Breathe. On an exhale, take the right hand down and just inhale, open up the left side. Just a nice, gentle, easy twist. Exhale to the middle. Reset. Left hand comes down. Inhale, open the right side. Exhale, center. Plant the hands. You're just kind of bring the hands down for support because I want you to sit down. Oh, that was a sloppy way to get there. Sorry. So you have some options for this next one. Double pigeon if you've got the range of motion. So left shin parallel to the front of your mat. I'm just facing you so you can see. Right shin on top. Obviously, if this is very challenging and difficult, you can just cross the legs kind of like how you would comfortably. But I want you to have some kind of upright, you need to elevate the right ankle. So maybe even bring your ankle to, or your knee to a block if you feel like your knee is lifted. So this might help. So either way, I want you just to have a hold of this right foot here. And we're going to roll the ankle, kind of grab a hold of the toes, roll the ankle, one direction. So you can even outstretch the other leg if that's easier. However you're rolling the ankle, roll it the other way. Pause in the center. The big toe only. I know it's strange, okay? The big toe only, grab the big toe, and I want you to pull it back gently towards you and then forward. Be gentle, okay? So let's go again. Pull it back. The intensity of this is up to you. Pull it very gently towards you, away from the other toes, and forward. Let's switch sides. I'm sorry, don't switch sides. Full double pigeon. I'm distracted by all of this foot stuff. So full double pigeon either here and fold forward, or again, if you need that extra just to relax, bring your block underneath you and you can keep the hands back. So totally up to you. And sit up tall. Now we can switch sides. So remember, you want to kind of hang that left foot off of your other leg. So if extending the leg out helps, you can do that. Or you can stay in double pigeon if that's where you feel best. So first things first, grab a hold of the toes and you're going to just roll the ankle. So this isn't a forceful motion, as with anything that we've done. This is really gentle, and it's up to your own ability, your own range of motion. And I think too, we can really villainize our lack of flexibility sometimes, or our lack of mobility. And really, the important part is not to become super flexible and Gumby. Like, the important part is not to be able to sit exactly the way I'm sitting. The important part is that you move in ways that are different from your typical. Change directions with your foot. So to get out of the habits that you've accumulated, so get out of the habit of sitting the same way every day. Get out of the habit of slumping your shoulders. Make sure you regularly break those habits, and get into something different. Get into a habit that's healthier. So that's really the goal of this stuff, is not to become Gumby, but to change course once in a while so we don't keep going down a road that's not great for us. Big toe. Grab the big toe only, and you're going to pull back gently towards you, away from the other toes, and then forward. I think flexibility and mobility are important, but again, it's more about moving in a variety of ways, about getting our bodies challenged, getting our bodies to do a variety of things. Think about how we were like before technology. I mean, let's say 1,000 years ago, I don't know, right? Like, we would run around outside. We would be doing things with our bodies regularly. We had other problems, of course, but we had a variety of movement, and that's what's really missing for a lot of us. This is the last little round here. And double pigeon, or prop your block underneath your opposite knee. Not going to hold here for long, just a few breaths. Inhale, sit up tall. Just unhook the legs and sit in a natural way for you. Maybe even flex the feet a little bit just to stretch out all the little weirdnesses. Sit in whatever way feels comfortable. Let the shoulders drop back, sit up nice and tall. You made it. Another day. And again, appreciating what you did for yourself today, moving in different ways, moving your body in a way that was unique and different from what you normally do. Appreciating the good that you did for yourself. On an inhale, let's pick the arms all the way up. Press the hands together and exhale them right down to the heart center, sealing it all in. And then let the eyes blink open. Namaste. Just wanted to thank you again for joining me for class, and also remind you that the full 21-day series lives inside Bad Yogi Studio, as does over 200 something classes and over 100 hours worth of yoga. When you sign up now, you also get 2 weeks for free, so definitely take advantage. Head to studio.badyogi.com and I'll see you inside.